Today we've got a long journey ahead of us to the depths of the Scottish borders to find the most unique football stadium in Britain that you've never heard of before. Just look at where I am on the map right now. Look at that. We are right down south. Actually quite a hard one to get to. If you're watching from England or Wales or whatever, I'm very far up north compared to you guys. But yeah, for me, this is south. And it's quite a tough one to get to just because like getting down to Dumfries from where I live is literally just an easy motorway journey. Then coming off around Dumfries and coming to places like Dalbeattie, Star, Threave, two south of Scotland teams where I've been before. I know Threave are now in the West of Scotland League, but South region. It's actually quite tough because the roads, they're not motorways, they're like A roads. You can get stuck behind tractors, they're quite windy, and it actually takes quite a long time to go a fairly short distance. And today we are going to Creetown. Quite a trek for me, but an exciting one. And they play in the South of Scotland League. I'll show you the South of Scotland League right now. As you can see, not too many teams in it, but it is the 6th tier of Scottish football. And although it is the 6th tier of Scottish football, like the West of Scotland Premier and the East of Scotland Premier, I would argue that the quality of the teams is a lot worse than in the East and the West Premier. And the East and the West both have not just the Premier, but they also have many divisions below their Premier divisions, whereas the South of Scotland League only has one league, and it's this whole region where it doesn't have the ones below it. So even though it is 6th tier, and if you win it you go into a playoff with the West and the East winners to go into the Lowland League. It's a bit of a playoff system. I can't see a world in where the South team would ever win it, not nowadays anyway, when there's so much money being pumped into some of the East and the West teams. A little bit strange how it's sort of that same level as the East and the West Premier, but it doesn't have any sort of levels below it, and that's just sort of, I guess, one of the big sort of struggles for teams at this level would be the fact that they are competing on not a level playing field with the East and the West. Like, there's less people here, there's less resources for clubs, I suppose, as well. There's probably less fans to go and watch games on average at some of these clubs too. So yeah, I'm sure there's some struggles for these clubs at this level, but I love where this job takes me. Look at this, what a place. Let's go grab a coffee. What a spot to stop for some coffee and some bacon. Really nice English guy who runs it in there as well. I shall see you in the town of Creetown in just a second. Who else would come to Creetown, this little town in the border region, on a Thursday morning? But look at this. I want to show you this because this building here is on the badge of the football club that we're going to see. So the population of this place is only about 750, so it's not a very big place at all, which is even more amazing how these football clubs can survive for so long, since a football club is very old indeed. We'll be finding out a little bit more about them when we get to the stadium later, but as you can see, look, the buildings behind me, you may be able to recognise the colour of them. They are very Aberdeeny, aren't they? Do very much remind me of Aberdeen, some of these buildings around here, although we're very far from there. Granite, they are made of granite, and there's granite quarries in and around this area, and that's sort of, I guess, what helped to build this town is the granite industry and stuff. Quarries, granite, and even I do believe supplied some of the stone which then built the Liverpool docks, so from Creetown to Liverpool. But yeah, a little bit less about the history of the town of Creetown now, and let's get down to one of the most unique football stadiums in all of the UK. Believe it or not, this is the football stadium, and when I first saw this, I saw a post on Twitter, I think, of like this log cabin looking stadium, and I cannot wait to get inside. We are meeting someone from the club. But yeah, when I saw like this was an actual football stadium, I actually couldn't believe it. Look at this. This is like no stadium I've ever visited. It's in the south of Scotland in the border region, this small league of just a few teams, and this is the main entrance to the football club. It's insane.
So I'm Ben Harris, and along with other family members, I kind of just muck in where needed.
Do a bit of everything.
Do a bit of everything as and when required.
As a lot of people do that I meet at non-league clubs up and down the country. And so, is it Creetown? Is that how you pronounce it?
It's Creetown Football Club.
And tell me a little bit about the club. When were they formed? What are they all about?
So the club was formed in 1895. We sort of struggled up until about 2 or 3 years ago. We were kind of surviving more than anything else, but sort of on the pitch and off the pitch, we've turned things around over the last sort of 5-10 years, to the stage where we won my first trophy last year in 14-15 years. We're sitting second in the league just now with a couple of games in hand. If we win them, we'll be top on our own. So, as I say, we've had a big turnaround over the last 5-10 years in terms of on the pitch and off the pitch.
And do people in and around this town, like, how many do you get at the games, and do they rally around the football club?
We sort of get in the region of 100 for the games, mostly from Creetown. But
do you get a lot of diehards, or do people support bigger teams around here and they'll just come here?
It tends to be you get your same regulars coming every week, and obviously if you're playing the teams that are sort of in and around us, you've got Wigtown, Stranraer, Newton Stewart, St Cuthbert's. If you're playing sort of one of the local teams, you get a wee bit more, obviously. Okay. But no, the crowds are pretty healthy. The locals are pretty good.
And it's only £4 entry I saw on the way in, right?
£4 entry.
Bargain. This log cabin for the ground came from America.
Came from America.
What's the story behind that then?
The story is the club are looking to build a new building. Okay, going back sort of about 2000. So we're going back 20 odd years. So the club had the plans set to build a new building, and then the guy for the caravan site got involved. So his reception's attached to the building.
Yeah, I just saw that on the way in. Yeah.
So the whole design changed to suit his liking.
Okay. So it had to be in keeping with what he wanted to build.
And it took about 15 years longer than what the plan was meant to.
And it's obviously such a unique stadium. You don't see many in the Scottish Pyramid. I've been to hundreds, and I can't imagine. I can't think of one that's just purely wooden like this. Do you get people coming from far and wide just to see the stadium? Recently,
we've had a lot more interest, and I don't know if the licence has probably got something to do with it.
Okay. It's your SFA licence now, you were just telling me off camera. That's your floodlights, the enclosed ground, that kind of stuff. And it means you can play in the Scottish Cup as well, which is huge for the club, right?
So we've probably had a wee bit more interest in the club since that happened.
Do you feel like having an SFA licence kind of makes you more of a, not that you weren't a proper club before, but it puts you in the same realm as the big clubs?
It's massive. It was massive for us. I mean, we've only got a committee of 5 or 6 people, so to get it was massive, to get over the line. It always seemed like a dream that was there, but to actually get it was it a lot of hard work that went into it? Years and years of planning and building and stuff, the ground plans were, finding the money for that was hard, but the paperwork that the SFA put in front of you was even harder. I bet, yeah. But you've got a unique story, mate. I absolutely love the ground. Let's go and have a look inside, Cam. And so, some of the teams that you've played then, up here, your Broxburns, would that have been in cup competitions, or? That was the South West Regional Cup. Okay, East Kilbride there as well. South West Regional Cup as well. And have you got your Scottish Cup one from your first season this year in the Scottish Cup? That's it, yeah. Oh, Whitehill Welfare, there you go. Yeah. So yeah, that was your first game, wasn't it, Whitehill Welfare? It was here. Yeah. And what did you say the score was? The BS 3-1. 3-1. And you went 1-0 up? 1-0 up at half time. Is that like one of the best moments from your time being involved with the club? It was good. I mean, we were starting to think of the next round at half time. Yeah. It all kind of went. A good cup run as well would just be amazing, wouldn't it? Yeah, a couple of games would have been nice. And so what have we got there? Is that pictures of the... It's just pictures of the games. Of the ground, and then you can see the wooden building behind. And then some of the trophies. I say to you, that's the first trophy we won in 14-15 years there. The League Cup, we won it last year. Oh, so you're the current holders of that trophy. And then who's some of the winners that are on that then? Oh yeah, Stranraer, Newton Stewart. Yep, Wigtown, St Cuthbert Wanderers.
The pitch itself then, grass pitch. I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there's a few little hills and divots here and there. What's kind of the reaction that you get from visiting teams coming here?
Some people, some teams kind of screw their face up a wee bit when they come in at the level of the pitch, but it's what it is. It's a grass pitch. I'm yet to meet a grass pitch that's perfect.
Yeah, of course, 100%, especially in the lower leagues of Scottish football. And so, again, the view, mate, and the amazing log cabin stadium. The South of Scotland League that you're currently in, there's 12 teams in the league, but it's the same level as the East Premier and the West Premier.
It is, aye.
But the East and the West also have like 4 or 5 divisions below the Premier as well. Yep. I think the East has 3 below it and the West has 4 below it. What do you make of the South of Scotland League? Can you see it one day maybe being incorporated into the West or the East just because of...
I think the day will come when it incorporates in one way or another.
Because three Rovers they've left the South to go to the West. Yeah.
West. They'll beat Star. They obviously got relegated for the Roland League. They're back in the South, but teams are sort of struggling a wee bit in terms of player numbers. There's not as many people playing as there used to be, so I think at some point the conversations will need to be held.
Okay. Do you think it would benefit the clubs in this division to have them play in the West of Scotland League?
I'm not sure whether the players would enjoy the travelling. I think the players play at this level because they want to be local, they want to be playing at home effectively, whereas every second week it could be 2 hours travelling.
To get promoted to the Lowland League, there's a 3-way playoff, isn't there, between the West of Scotland champions, the East of Scotland champions and the South of Scotland champions. There wasn't a playoff last year because there was no licences for 2 of the teams, so the East team just went up. But the year before, I think the South of Scotland League team got battered in a few of the games. It would have been St Cuthbert's. That was when Darvel and Tranent, I think, were the teams from the West and the East.
Right, yep.
Do you see a world in which a South of Scotland League winning team could beat the East or the West in that playoff
Truthfully?
system? Yeah.
No.
Never.
I don't think the South is at the same level as particularly the West of Scotland Premier League.
Where would you say it is in terms of the West?
Well, in fairness to 3 Rovers, they made the move across. They're competing well.
Yep.
Having said that, we've played 1 or 2 games against the teams for the West. We played Whitlets, who we beat. We played Ashfield about 2 weeks ago. We were 3-1 up against them, ended up getting beat 4-3.
Okay.
So on
your day it's tighter,
occasions, I think probably the South teams can compete with certainly the top South teams can compete with some of the maybe the league below the Premier League.
Okay.
But over the course of the season, with travelling and stuff, I don't think it's ever.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's ever going to be that.
What are the biggest challenges in running a football club at this level?
The biggest challenge in the last couple of years is definitely money. The bulk of everything we do is through fundraising. Always has been. Like I say, we only got our Scottish FA licence this year, so prize money, that kind of money's not been a thing for us up until this season. So things are getting harder for everything. The expenses are getting higher. Power of the floodlights alone, it's costing a fortune.
Yeah, it's amazing actually to see floodlights at a ground like this. I go to a lot that don't have them, and
travel expenses, things like that. So definitely money's the hardest thing.
And where did the funding come from then for the floodlights and the license?
We're a wee bit lucky. There's a wind farm that we can tap into around over here, so the bulk of the money came from the wind farm.
Cool.
Without it, we probably couldn't have done it.
Yeah.
So definitely the biggest challenge now is money, keeping because it's getting harder to ask people to fundraise because things are getting more expensive for everybody.
And what about the future of the club then? Where do you see the club in 10 years' time?
It's difficult. Like you said, you asked me about the future of the South. In 10 years' time, I don't see the South being here in 10 years' time. So
is that sad for you, being from around here, knowing the clubs?
A wee bit, but it's probably up to the clubs how they react to that.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the future brings, but certainly the club's secure in the long term. The club's secure. It's just a case of what league we're playing in, where we will be. But we hope the South continues for as long as it can.
But whatever happens, I hope that it's for the better of all the smaller teams and the betterment of the pyramid and stuff.
Yeah.
And then for anyone watching, obviously we've heard from you today. It's £4 entry.
£4.
You got this amazing view, and that's the main town through there, you say.
Yep.
And you got this incredible stadium here. So to anyone watching from far and wide, would you have a message for them?
Come and watch us. Come and experience the Creetown weather, and the pies are amazing.
Amazing, perfect.
All right.
Legend.